Your home sat on the market for 30, 60, 90, or 120 days and nothing happened. Every week, less and less showings. And then price cuts, price drops. Still, nothing happened until your listing got expired. If that happened to you, or if you're watching this video because you're afraid that is going to happen soon, I wanted to let you know one single thing. It's never about the house. It's always about the strategy. A $600,000 or more home in Central Florida is not selling because it's a bad house. It's not selling because it's taking the wrong approach, the wrong strategy. And today, I'm going to let you know exactly what you need to know to fix that problem and get your house sold. I'm Pedro with eXp Realty, graduated in economics, MBA in marketing, and I worked a great amount of my life in that field, so I know exactly what to do to get your house sold. Stick with me because at the end of this video, you understand why high-value homes are stalling here in Central Florida and the exact framework on how to reposition it and relaunch it in the market, making sure we get your house sold. Now, before we get into it, if this is your first time watching my channel, feel free to hit subscribe, smash that like button. I post twice a week. Once a week, it's all about education. I help buyers, sellers, and investors make great decisions. And also, I do community tours every week so you don't have to, all right? Now, if you're a seller that is frustrated because you didn't sell your home in your last attempt, I have something for you. You don't have to worry. Here in the description below, I have a link to my calendar, so feel free to book a free strategic call with me. No pressure, no pitch. It's just for me to understand your situation and see if there's a way for me to actually help you with your real estate needs. All right? All right, so before we jump into the framework, let me answer the question directly first, because if you're searching for this on YouTube or asking ChatGPT right now, I want to give you the real answer up front. A $600,000 or higher home in Central Florida most often fails to sell for one of four reasons. Number one, pricing is disconnect from current buyer expectations, not just comps. Number two, the presentation audit was skipped. Photos, staging, digital presence were treated like formalities, right? Not marketing. Number three, the digital targeting strategy reached the wrong buyer pool or no defined pool at all. And number four, the listing agent's strategy stopped at the MLS upload. And trust me, that reactive approach is the approach that 90% of realtors do in this market. The Central Florida market in 2026, it is a buyer's market. Inventory is up, buyers have leverage and options. For a home priced at $600,000 and above, you are no longer competing just locally. You are competing for buyers who are relocating from out of state, who are doing their research online months before they even fly here. And if your strategy didn't account for that buyer, your home sat and it will keep sitting until something changes. Now, let me walk you through the full framework now. I want to walk you through what I call the 4-pillar repositioning framework. This is the same process I use when I take over a listing that's been sitting, whether it expired with another agent or just stalled on day 45 when it should have been under contract, okay? And I'm going to contrast each pillar with what most agents do, so you can see exactly where the gap is, okay? And as you can see here, the 4 pillars have different approaches from what the most agents do and my proven approach for success. So now let's dig into one by one, all right? Most sellers in the $600,000 plus range get burned by the same pricing mistake. They price based on what their neighbors sold for 8 months ago, not based on where today's buyers are searching. And here's what demand signal pricing looks at. So active buyer demand by price band. So what ranges are generating showings requests right now? Relocation buyer budgets. What are people moving from Texas, New York, and California qualifying for? Rate sensitivity. Which rates near 7%? A $650,000 home is roughly $200 more per month than a $615,000 home. That spread matters. Days on market by price point in your zip code. Not countrywide, not metro-wide, your zip. And when I price a home, I'm not just pulling a CMA. I'm building a case for where the buyer pool lives. And I'm pricing at the top of that pool, not the bottom, okay? The difference between $648,000 and $659,000 can be the difference between being in the buyer search results or being invisible to them. The presentation audit. For a $600,000 home, your buyers are not walking in off the street. They're sitting in a home office in Houston or Chicago or New Jersey, scrolling Zillow at 10 p.m. and making a short list before they even book a flight. Your presentation is your first showing, and most listings, even at this price point, treat it like a checkbox. Here's what a full presentation audit includes in my process. Professional photography, of course, not just wide angles, lifestyle shots, detail shots, natural light maximization, video walkthrough, narrated, so out-of-state buyers feel like they're in the home, right? And also drone footage, especially here in Central Florida when lot size, lake proximity, and neighborhood feel matters enormously. Staging review. We don't always need full staging, okay? So that depends on your use case, but we always need a deliberate review of what's in the frame. Digital asset package. You got the photos, video, and copy go beyond MLS. They become the foundation of every marketing channel we use. And I've seen listings where the only thing that changed was going from 12 mediocre phone photos to a professional shoot. And the showing requests doubled in the first week, okay? So presentation isn't a nicely to have at this price point. It's table stakes. The digital targeting strategy is the pillar that most agents skip entirely. And it's the one that makes the biggest difference for high value homes. The MLS gets your home in front of agents and buyers already searching locally. But for a $600,000 plus home in Central Florida, a significant portion of your buyer pool is not local, okay? They are in high cost of living cities right now. They are planning a relocation and they are doing their research months in advance. So the digital strategy I build for each listing includes paid social media campaigns targeted specifically for professionals in feeder markets like Texas, New York, Illinois, California, New Jersey, and the ones that actually match the income profile and life stage of a Central Florida buyer at this price point. YouTube property spotlight. I will make, and I usually make, a dedicated walkthrough video for the listing optimized for search so that when someone types homes for sale in Winter Garden, for example, your home shows up as a content, not just a listing, all right? If you check in my YouTube channel, you're gonna see plenty of examples like that. Google retargeting, so buyers who visit the listing page see it again across the web over and over again. Property landing page, a dedicated URL with full photos, video, neighborhood data, and a contact form. That's huge. It's not a Zillow page, okay? This is your page. And Remember that I told you about my background? Yes, my background means I actually understand how digital marketing funnels work. I'm not just boosting around Facebook, posting and calling it a campaign. I'm building a pipeline that reaches the right buyer in the right city at the right stage of their decision process. And in terms of negotiation, getting an offer is not the finish line. For $600,000 plus homes, the negotiation phase is where value gets protected or given away. Here's what a good negotiation looks like versus a transaction one. I always analyze the buyer's motivation. Are they relocating with a firm start date? Are they contingent on a home sale? Are they coming with cash or a jumbo loan? Each of those factors changes your leverage, all right? Also, I assess the offer terms holistically, not just price. Closing timeline, inspection contingency, scope, seller concessions, post-closing occupancy, all of those affect your net proceeds and your risk. I also use market data to anchor the counteroffer. When I push back on a low ball, I'm not doing it emotionally, okay? I'm presenting data on absorption rate, competitive listings, and why your pricing is defensible. I protect your interest through inspection, repairs become negotiation attempts, and I know what's a standard, what's a reach, and where to hold firm, okay? The goal here is not to get to the closing table. It's to get to the closing table with the number you need and the terms that don't cost you after the fact. All right? Now, let me walk you through what a repositioning actually looks like in practice. I'm going to use a realistic scenario and the kind of situation I see regularly here in Central Florida. For example, a home is listed at $685,000 in a sought-after Windermere neighborhood, all right? That home sits for 87 days. It gets 2 price reductions, 6 showings, no offers, and then, of course, listing expires. Seller calls me. Here's what the 3-week relaunch looks like. Week 1, we diagnose and reset. We do a full pricing audit with the current demand data. Presentation audit, new professional photography, aerial drone, narrated video tour, staging refresh consultation, and of course a temporary off-market period to reset the days on market count. Week 2, we make the relaunch. A new MLS listing with the revised pricing, $658,000 as an example, new assets and a refreshed description targeting relocation buyers. Property landing page live. Paid social campaigns launched in Texas, New York, Illinois, all focusing on buyers relocating to Central Florida. YouTube property video published. That's easy. And week 3, offer and close. We had 14 showing requests in 11 days, 2 competing offers, accepted at $661,000, and that was above new list price, right? Under contract in day 14, clean inspection, closed after 31 days. The house didn't change. The strategy did, and that's the point. You hear me? A home that sat for 87 days under the wrong strategy found a buyer in 14 days under the right one. Same walls, same square footage, completely different result. All right, so I'm going to be completely honest with you before I close out this video. I'm not an agent for everyone, right? And you should really consider working with me in a few situations. If your home is priced at $600,000 or above and sitting for 30 days, if your listing expired and you're about to sign a contract with another agent to relist it, you've done price reductions but haven't seen any traction yet, if you're a really motivated seller that needs to move, that has a real reason to sell your home, and you want a consultant's approach, not just a lockbox and prayers. Now, you should not work with me if you're just trying to test the market and seeing how much you could get on your house if you have no motivation at all to sell your home, if you need a 24-hour quick turnaround and get your home listed, if you are unwilling to consider price improvements or presentation improvements, or if your timeline is unclear and you are not in a rush to sell. And again, I'm not the right agent for everyone, right? So if you really need a strategic partner on your corner, feel free to reach out to me. Let's book that 30-minute call. No pressure, no sales pitch. Let just have me understand your current situation and see what we can do about it, right? Link is in the description below. My name is Pedro with eXp Realty. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope I could drop some value to you today, and I'll see you next time.